The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Aaron Glenn reportedly wants the Jets. Do the Jets want Aaron Glenn? We'll talk about the latest with the Jet coach search. Jeff Parles joins us in his weekly spot. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Who's the coach? Who's the GM? Who's the quarterback? At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quentin Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go. Welcome in, everybody. Click that like button, and please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. We are 40 subscribers away from 41,000. Shout out to all the Asmaniacs who continue to support this show each and every day. Joining us right now to talk all things Jets and talk about the story of the day involving Aaron Glenn is the big tuna himself, Jeff Parles, out in Las Vegas. Mr. Parles, Mr. Parcells, how are you, my friend?
Tuna, I haven't seen Bobby in God knows how long, so I'm looking forward to hopefully to seeing him today. But Jake, it's good to be here. It's a lot has transpired since the Jets have played their last game. Shockingly enough, I've not interviewed for either the GM or the head coaching job yet. I'm still awaiting my call. My agent has failed me here, so boy, Jesus, seriously. In all seriousness, though, it feels like they have legitimately brought the kitchen sink out and filled it to the brim to find whatever candidates they end up with here, Jake.
And look, as far as the GM search goes, I like what they're doing. I like a lot of the candidates. We'll get into the coach search coming up, but that's where I'm just like, really? We can't interview Mike McCarthy, for example. We can't even request Liam Cohen. Can't talk to Pete Carroll, but I'll save that. But I do want to start with the GM search before we get specific with the news, the reports about Aaron Glenn telling people that if the Jets offer him the job, that's his number one choice. What's your read on this GM search? They've now done 15 total interviews. To me, my theory is, Jeff, they're going to basically hire two people to this front office. I think that's why they cast such a wide net. I think they'll have a GM, and they might have someone above that GM. It could be a combo of a football guy with an analytic guy. It could be a football guy with, like, let's use Mike Greenberg as an example. He's like the cap wizard. I just feel like the approach they're taking here, the reason why they've interviewed 15 GM candidates is because they're going to make more than one hire, like what Carolina did a year ago.
Or maybe Woody just has no idea what the hell he's doing. I mean, that's
or the 3013 gets paid by the candidate, so the more candidates, the better.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's how I kind of feel with it. I mean, I don't know what ends up happening here. I think it kind of depends on who the head coach is, right? I mean,
well, does the GM have a say in who the coach is? Because I do think they hire a GM first.
Yeah, you would hope. But again, we're dealing with Woody here. Like, if he's like, I want Aaron Glenn, I'm going to hire someone from the Detroit front office that likes Aaron Glenn. Like, that's what probably will end up happening. Or if it's Brian Flores, like, I think we'll be able to tell who the coaching hire is based off who the GM hire is. All right. If it's someone from the Detroit front office, it's going to be Glenn. If it's the guy from Kansas City whose name I just can't pronounce for whatever reason, Mike B, we'll go with. Matt Nagy's very much in play at that point. If it's Grigson, which God help us if it's freaking Ryan Grigson, the dude drafted, not counting Andrew Luck, drafted one legitimate starter in 5 years. It's going to be Brian Flores. I know you detracted that a little bit earlier in the week, but again, I think it's a tell. Now, the unknown factors, if it's someone that is like, if it's Mike Greenberg, then you would hope at some point it's like, all right, go go request Liam Cohen. Like, at least talk to him. Like, we'll be able to figure that out from there. And then if it's someone I haven't mentioned, then yeah, maybe that GM will have a lot more of a say on the coach than I think they will. But I think it's going to be a tell based off of who is hired as the GM on who the next coach is going to be, Jake. That's really where my head is at this point.
Quick update on Bobby, Jeff. Bobby wrote in that he loves you, he misses you, but he's in the hospital with his daughter right now. So, Bobby, all the best to you and your daughter as you're going through what you're going through. All right, bud. I don't have any additional info. This is the first I'm learning of this as well. So, if someone in the Discord who knows Bobby can message me what the deal is, I would appreciate that. I've been nonstop all day, so I haven't checked today. But obviously, Bobby, I hope everything is okay.
Absolutely. I didn't even know Bobby had a kid. So most best thoughts with you, Bobby, and from hope everyone is okay. That's obviously the most important thing.
Oh yeah, Bobby had a kid, and Bobby, this is for you.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
All right, now moving on and talking about the Aaron Glenn of it all, Jeff. He apparently has told people, this is from Brian Costello on the New York Post, that the Jets are his first choice for a head coaching job. So I'm not going to lie to you. At first, I was very, really? Defensive guy, no previous head coaching experience. Feels like we're doing Salah all over again. But I fully acknowledge he's a really good candidate. I fully acknowledge that you can't just say, well, because we did this in the past, we can't consider Aaron Glenn. I use the example of the fact that, well, if the Jets went out there and they or teams went out there and only said, oh, Ohio State quarterbacks, you can't take them. Well, the Texans wouldn't have taken Stroud, or the Buffalo Bills, they fired Rex Ryan, defensive guy, and then they hired Sean McDermott, defensive guy. So you can't think that way. I totally understand that. But between Glenn now saying the Jets are his first choice, telling people for the last several years the Jets are actually his, quote, dream job, that's what Rich Cimini has reported, and then the fact that Aaron Glenn turned down the Patriots to speak with them and said today he didn't think it was the right fit for him. Aaron Glenn is starting to be my guy, Jeff. I won't lie to you. I still like Brian Flores a lot, but Aaron Glenn is starting to become my guy based on how he's handling this.
Well, look, again, obviously, when you have a connection to the team, obviously Glenn was a very good player for the Jets, Jake. And it's interesting. Like, for me, yeah, I really want an offensive guy. Like, that's why, like, not even talking to Liam Cohen bothers me.
Yep.
Like, I get the Ben Johnson thing. Like, Ben Johnson was never coming to the Jets. Like, I understand that. Like, which, again, if it wasn't for Tom Brady's existence, the Raiders would have gone into this pile as well. But, I mean, look at the places Johnson's interviewing. Jacksonville, he could end up being legitimately he could end up being like almost hiring his own GM if he gets the Jacksonville job based off what Shot Khan has said in public. The Bears, you have a pretty damn good roster, a young quarterback who showed a lot of promise, even though he had his rookie struggles, and a roster that I don't think is that far off from winning. And then the Raiders, again, it's a Tom Brady factor. Like, that is what it is, the Tom Brady factor. But look, I think, it's important to have someone that wants to be here. We know Glenn has the New York connection because he's played with the team. And look, that Detroit defense has improved a ton this year until they got eviscerated with injuries. And then look, they get Anzalone back the final week of the season, and their defense was amazing. Now, granted, Darnold and the Vikings fell off a cliff the last 2 weeks. But look, I'm totally, of the defensive-minded guys, him and Flores were clearly the top two guys to me. Flores, because of the head coaching experience previously, you imagine he would have to learn. And the prospect to bring Josh McCown with him as his offensive coordinator excited me.
Yep.
Glenn, look, I would imagine it'll be someone from the Detroit staff will be the offensive coordinator. I'm just not sure who. But he's got to nail the offensive coordinator hire. If Glenn ends up being the guy, he's got to be it. Now, look, I'd much rather have him. And again, there are other offensive names out there. Like, I would like them to talk to McCarthy. I don't think I'd want them to hire him, but at least talk to him like you did during the Adam Gase search, which obviously ended up perfect, as we know, Jake. Talk to Liam Cohen. Talk to other offensive-minded things. You mentioned Carroll earlier. I have no problem with him not talking to Carroll. I think the game passed Carroll by. I don't think he should get a job in this cycle. I think the only job he might get is Dallas. But that's a different discussion for a different time. But look, if you're between at this point, like, look at the other names that seem to be finalists for this job. I don't want Arthur Smith. I don't want Matt Nagy.
No.
So if we're picking between Aaron Glenn and Brian Flores, yeah, that's a coin flip. But I'd much rather have Glenn than the two predominant offensive names that seem to be out there right now of Smith and Nagy, who I know Arthur Smith can't be a head coach. And yeah, I think Nagy is a better candidate than Arthur Smith, but I don't want Matt Nagy. I don't want a recycled mediocre offensive mind. That's what I want, Jake. If you're hiring an offensive guy, and this is part of the reason I don't want McCarthy either, even though I think he's a little bit better than people give him credit for. If you're going to hire an offensive guy, hire a guy who's kind of an unknown. See what he is. See if you strike lightning, strike gold with the hire of an offensive guy. But if we're between, look, if it's legitimately Nagy and Smith or Glenn or Flores, it's pretty easy to me. You're taking one of the two defensive guys.
Well said. Hit the like button, comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. We're talking with Jeff Parles, his weekly spot on the show. Hennessy writes in, Alan said he likes Glenn, so I'm sold. Well, if Aaron Glenn ends up being terrible, if he's the Jet coach, Alan can't sit here and act like it was a mistake from the beginning to hire him because, yes, Alan likes Aaron Glenn, no doubt.
Jake, the offensive coordinator hire, if it is Glenn, like, again, the prospect of, like, to compare him and Flores, who I really do think are the two top candidates for the job at this point.
They're my top two, given the candidates we know they're going to speak to.
Look, my choice would still be Liam Cohen, but they haven't even freaking talked to him yet.
No. Now, do you think Liam Cohen told them no, and that's why it's not out there?
No, unless if Cohen thinks he's getting the Jacksonville job. I don't know why he wouldn't at least listen.
But because Mike Greenberg interviewed for the GM job.
The only thing that I will bring up, though, and I've had this thought in my head, and I haven't heard anything on this, Jay. What happens if Tampa, like, after reviewing through and like, look, Baker Mayfield threw 41 touchdowns this year. Baker Mayfield had his best year of his career. We can't risk Liam Cohen leaving the building after losing Canales last year. And look, Canales by the end of the year, I think, might actually be a reasonable coach in Carolina. Just look at the in-season transformation of Bryce Young from worst quarterback in the NFL to pretty reasonable starter by the end of the year. Maybe they fire Todd Bowles, and maybe Liam Cohen is holding out for that. Like, maybe he wants the Tampa job, and they decide that they don't want to keep Bowles around. Like, I know it may be a little bit unfair for Bowles, who's, since he's taken over as the head coach, has won a division every year, but we saw it again on display on Sunday night. Like, you have a ceiling with Todd Bowles as your head coach. Like, you're winning a playoff game at most. You're not winning anything of significance with him. He's just not a good enough head coach. So I wonder if that's playing a role too with Cohen. Like, all right, the Jacksonville job's intriguing for the reasons I mentioned earlier with Ben Johnson, but maybe he is holding out for the Tampa job. Maybe that's why he hasn't talked to more teams than I would have expected him to at this point.
100%. And look, I mean, Liam Cohen's interviewing for the Jaguars, so he's at least open to that job.
Yeah. Well, it goes back to what I said with the Ben Johnson thing. I think if you're based off what Shad Khan said, legitimately with him on the other, with his GM, with Balky on the other side of the screen, legitimately basically saying, yeah, I'd fire him if the head coach can give me a good plan. Like, why wouldn't you listen to that if you're a young offensive coordinator? And look, if you think Trevor Lawrence is salvageable, why the hell not? You're in a terrible division. They're rebuilding the stadium, so there's going to be a little bit of juice with that franchise. And that roster isn't that far off from competing in that mediocre division.
Yeah, look, if you think like Trevor Lawrence could have like a Jared Goff-like resurgence with the right coaching, it makes sense for Ben Johnson. It makes sense for Liam Cohen. Funny enough, you bring up that question that was asked to Shad Khan and that answer about, hey, if you have a good plan, see you later, Balky. My friend Mia O'Brien's the one who asked that question. I went to college with her. Good friend of mine.
It's like a college's own. Yeah.
The Bombers, baby. You know it. If you're tuning in live right now, click the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. We're almost at 41,000 subscribers. Today is the 4-year anniversary of when the Jets hired Robert Saleh, Jeff, and that was also the unofficial start of this show. In the past, this channel was just clips from my then radio show on SB Nation Radio. The day they hired Saleh, I dropped a reaction video, and then shortly after that, I started doing daily Jets videos, which then eventually turned into the live version of the show that you've been a part of now for the last couple of years. So happy anniversary to Robert Saleh being hired 4 years ago.
Well, I will tell you, I forget who tweeted this earlier today, but Robert Saleh being interviewed by 3 different places is kind of astounding in this cycle. Kind of just a testament to how bad things got for the Jets that multiple teams could think, well, you know what? The Jets were wrong for firing him. Maybe it wasn't that bad that he won 14 games in 2 seasons with that quarterback play that they had, especially seeing the defense implode after Bob got fired, obviously, Jake.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think it's a couple things. One, I think teams want to talk to Saleh because they probably want to hear just how big of a bleep show it was from his perspective. So you get some intel on the Jets. Everyone wants a good story. 2, I hate to say this, but we saw what the Robert Kraft situation happened with the Rooney Rule. Robert Saleh is a minority coach. So if you're a team like Dallas, where because you fired McCarthy so late in the game, you can't even talk to anyone in person, in some cases, till after the Super Bowl, if that coach is coaching in the game, I feel like they're just trying to check off some of the boxes in case they just want to make the swing and hire someone quick, whether it's Pete Carroll, Gruden, Dion, all that.
Look, I got to be honest with you. I think Pete Carroll, if he wants to, is willing to deal with Jerry, I think that's what ends up happening in Dallas. I really do. But look, for Saleh too, Jake, we can't argue that the guy knows how to coach a defense. We know
100%.
that.
100%.
Like we know that. If he doesn't end up with a head coaching job, he's going to be Kyle Shanahan's defensive coordinator next year. That just makes too much sense. But yeah, no, it's all the whole thing with Saleh. It's just, Jake, I still the season's 2 weeks dead at this point officially, even though it was dead way, way, way before that. It's still everything that's transpired this calendar year or last calendar year for this idiot football team that we love was really something else. This coach, whatever. It all goes back to the owner, but we'll see if the owner gets one of these right for once.
Jeff, I'm going to try and make it better for you. You ready for this?
Yeah, go for it.
To celebrate 41,000 subscribers and to celebrate all the memberships that continue to be gifted, our raffle next week has a Garrett Wilson signed helmet to one of the winners. And as of today, Jeff, we have added a signed Joe Klecko jersey to the raffle. So GW, G5 signed helmet, Joe Klecko signed jersey, the 2 grand prizes for our raffle, which will be at the end of next week. To be eligible, $20 super chat or more gets you at least 5 raffle tickets, 50 gets you 10. Or if you gift a membership, if you gift 5, you get 5 entries. You gift 10, you get 10, so on and so forth. So the Asmaniac raffle, our 2 biggest prizes to date. So Jeff, I'm gonna put an entry with your name in it. All right.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna gift the membership, and it's gonna go in honor of you though. So you're gonna be in the raffle for one.
Let's go. Good? Sounds good to me.
All right.
Sounds good to me.
FPP writes in, Jeff, John Eric Sullivan for GM. So FPP is a Packers fan. Jeff, any thoughts on John Eric Sullivan, who the Jets interviewed yesterday?
I don't think they're getting him. I think he's going to Tennessee, personally. But yeah, I mean, if they landed on Sullivan, that would be great. I'll take anyone from the Packer organization, man. They know what the hell they're doing up there. So yeah, I think that would be a good one. But I think he's going to be the Titans GM when it's all said and done, Jake.
Adam is too cool. Make Aaron Glenn's dreams come true. Maybe he can give Anthony Beck a role too on the offensive coaching staff. He's considered an up-and-comer too.
We're going from broadcast booth to the field for Beck too. By the way, I shouldn't say that in jest because what Beck has done with the St. Louis Battlehawks actually been pretty impressive.
He's coaching the XFL.
Done a very nice job with that Battlehawk team. So. Yeah, what the hell? I mean, why not? Receivers coach, tight ends coach, why not for Beck? Why not?
Perfect tie-in here to this next super chat. Josh says, only problem with hiring a defensive head coach is there'll be a revolving door at OC if they're ever successful.
So, Jake, this is one of my good friends I grew up with. This is the constant argument he and I getting over with this, that when you hire a defensive coach, you do end up with this sort of circumstance where the quote-unquote best case scenario is that your offensive coordinator is going to get a head coaching job and you have to consistently replace him. Now, look, if the Jets are making the playoffs consistently, and their offensive coordinator gets a head coaching job, I think we'll be okay for a few years, Jake.
Remember, they said that about LaFleur when they hired him. Oh, he's going to do a great job with Zach,
Yeah.
and then we're going to have an issue.
Yeah,
I'll sign for that issue. I'll sign for it.
Jake, I thought LaFleur was going to be a future head coach too. He still might be, honestly, since he's now with McVay. But and now everything on this jet, and now everything that's happened, especially since they fired Adam Gase, is just going to be blamed on Woody Johnson being incompetent at this point, more so than anything. Which Joe Douglas somehow gets away with everything, which doesn't sit well with me. But regardless, not that I want to defend Woody at all, who doesn't deserve defending at this point. But look, I get this from Josh. I do get it. Like, there is a legitimate argument to be made if you're the Jets. Let's just take the Brian Flores, Josh McCown duo for a second, Jake. Let's just take that for a second. There's a legitimate argument to be made if you like Josh McCown equal to Brian Flores. There is an argument to be made that Josh McCown should be made the head coach. There's an argument there where it's like, all right, offensive guy. We know he's a good guy. Hell, he was, for the era of Jet football he had to deal with, he was a good Jet. He was a good Jet for what was needed out of him. So, and look, we know that he has good relationships with quarterbacks from the time of being a back. Like, we know, again, I know it blew up on Minnesota at the end of the year. And I don't think there's any shot in hell of Sam coming back and being the Jets quarterback next year. No chance. But his relationship with Darnold, like, is something to look at. It like, all right, well, there's a chance the Jets draft a quarterback in the second or third round this year of this draft. Maybe if Jordan Travis gets healthy, maybe he's your quarterback you look at beyond Aaron Rodgers, Tyrod Taylor, or whoever the hell else veteran is the week one starter next year. But there is a legitimate argument for that, where if like just taking McCown and Flores, if they're even in your book, just because of that point that was just made, that I think is a reasonable one, to hire the younger, unknown offensive commodity to make sure you keep him around long term. And Jesus, Jake, Josh McCown was already getting interviewed. The Texans, remember the whole thing with the Texans?
I was there.
Like,
he would have got the job. He would have got the job.
He would have got the job if the Texans were not humiliated publicly. Like,
and so it was that, and also the Brian Flores lawsuit came out right as they were about to hire the white guy who's never been a coach before, make him the head coach after Flores got fired after going 10-6 and 9-7. That's what happened.
So like,
that's how you got Lovie Smith, by the way, for a year.
Look, Lovie Smith got him C.J. Stroud, so they ended up okay in the end.
Yeah,
but look, there's an argument, because like, for a guy who's respected like that, if like Jets, Jake, if the Jets pop, I don't know what the roster is going to look like. Let's say the Jets hire Flores, bring McCown in as the offensive coordinator. Let's say the Jets pop a 10-7 season, make the playoffs, and have a middle tier offense. Josh McCown's going to be a high-end candidate in next year's go around for the head coaching carousel. So that is a thing to keep in mind. Again, I still would prefer the guy with experience, but there is an argument there on the McCown, and I'd much rather have McCown than the Nagy and Arthur Smiths of the world. That's not even close at this point.
Completely agree. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. We've been asking for more memberships. Ladies and gentlemen, Mimosa comes through for the people.
Money, 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 money.
10 spot of channel memberships for the people. 10 raffle entries for Mimosa, who's won a bunch of raffle items. Thank you to Mimosa. Thank you to the 4% female demo for always coming through. Justin, Daz, Leo's Dogs, 1 Trillion, Chris P, The Mott Zone, Nick Teodoro, Realistic Jet Fan, Jason Sparks, all receiving channel memberships. A couple more names here to read off. It just disappeared on me. Damn you, YouTube. Green Friend NYJ. Those are the 10 who just got memberships from Mimosa. Jeff, I'm going to play you something. All right. And I see Franco was all over it in the comments here. Jake, did you watch Aaron Glenn's latest press conference? Good stuff there. Pull it up. I already had it in the can. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the answer that I think if you're on the fence about Aaron Glenn, he might win you over just a little bit more. Here's Aaron Glenn being asked about a lot of defensive coaches in today's NFL not winning Super Bowls. Here's Glenn.
I mean, Bill Belichick is a shining example of a defensive coach. who won Super Bowls, but typically it's offensive coordinators. They come from the offense who become Super Bowl head-winning coaches.
Yeah.
Why do you think that might be? Is there?
Well, I don't know if that's truly accurate. I can just go off the top of my head with Bill Carr, Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick. That's won a ton of Super Bowls as a defensive coach. And here's the one thing that I would say about myself. I'm a coach. I just happen to be on defense. I understand the offense just as well as a number of people. So if you're going to hire me, you're going to hire a coach. You're not going to hire a defensive coach. I'm going to talk to the offense just as much as I'm going to talk to the defense.
I mean, that's the right answer. That's the right answer, Jeff. Your thoughts on Aaron Glenn saying, I'm a coach, baby. I'm not a defensive coach.
Jake,
I'm a coach.
Jake, this man is going to win the damn press conference if he gets the job. Also, too, like look at like Aaron Glenn's who he played for when he was in the NFL. Look at the guys that he's coached under. Like, dude played for Parcells. Well, that's me actually, Parcells. But
Big tuna.
Played for Parcells. Coached under Sean Payton. Coached under Campbell. Like the guys who predominantly for Glenn. And yes, I know he had a tenure afterwards. Where he was bounced around in the league at the end, but look at the guy. The best of his play came under Bill Parcells. The best of it, his coaching, Sean Payton and Man Campbell. Those guys have all won, and also, by the way, they're all connected to Parcells as it is anyway. Mm-hmm. So, the connection to Parcells, that's good with me. That's totally good with me. But man, that's winning your press conference answer for sure. And if that is what his attitude is, yeah, then hell yeah. Again, I'm not really worried about how Aaron Glenn is going to be publicly, Jake. Just look at how he acts on the sidelines. Look at how he's acted look at how he acted as a player too. There's no concern about him being able to handle the job from what comes with it. The question is, can he handle it of being a head coach for the first time with a franchise we are so damn desperate. Forget winning the Super Bowl. Just make the damn playoffs. Give me some rooting interest in these weekends in January for once. Do that first. Then let's be concentrated on building this team into a team that can compete with Kansas City and Buffalo and Baltimore. And I know they had an off year, but Cincinnati's going to be back next year. Competing with those big four in the AFC that are going to be around for a long time because they have four guys on a Hall of Fame track at the quarterback position, Jake.
100%. Jeff, I said this on the show this week. People are like, oh, you can't hire Mike McCarthy because there's never been a head coach that's won a Super Bowl with two different teams. Oh, you can't bring in Mike Tomlin hypothetically if he was available because you go into the playoffs and losing in the first round that's not the goal. And I'm sitting there going, are you people nuts? The goal for the Jets should be not winning a Super Bowl. The goal should be get out of hell first, right? Get out of hell, end the longest playoff drought in sports. Stop being the biggest joke in the NFL. Get back to winning. Get back to establishing a culture. Get back to not being a laughing stock like what the Knicks have done with their rebuild. And then as you progressively build it, then you could start talking about getting to the top of the mountain. But you can't get to the top of the mountain if you're buried underground right now. You got to get above the ground. And if Aaron Glenn or Brian Flores, despite being, quote, defensive coaches, can do that, I'm not disqualifying them and hiring Arthur Smith or Matt Nagy because they happen to be on the offensive side of the ball. So, come on, people. You got to get out of hell first.
No, I mean, look, it's a progressive build. It's a progressive build. And again, Arthur Smith is the worst possible hire left on the board. It's not close.
Great mustache, though. We're going to be fair.
He didn't win in Atlanta. The offense regressed horrifically as the year went along in Pittsburgh this past year. Now, I think part of that also had to do with the Russell Wilson is washed, and the first few games, everyone was just confused on that. He actually had a little bit left for a few weeks, but Smith is the worst candidate potential, assuming Michael Oxley's not live for the job here, Jake, which, again, I tweeted this, there's casting a wide net, and then it's just wasting everyone's time.
How about a favor from an agent? Hey, my guy's probably going to get fired. So
it was clearly a favor for Tannenbaum. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
No, not even a doubt on that.
When he gets fired, he could spin it. Well, he wanted to get back into the NFL anyway. He interviewed for the Jet job last year. That's what's happening there.
Freaking Loxley, who I legitimately went through it. I think I had 54, not including the service academy guys who are better coaches that I don't know if they would translate to the NFL. I had 54 guys, including our boy Dell Loggins, who's now the head coach at Appalachian State, that I'd rather hire than Mike Loxley. That's how bad of a candidate Mike Loxley is in an NFL level, Jake.
It's unbelievable. All right, comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. I'm skipping ahead to this $20 one because I'm a capitalist. Thank you for supporting the show. Jersey Joe. McCown would be loved by Jet fans, and I think we're going to take a chance on first-timers. Why not? But damn, Glenn grew on me a ton. I think those are my two top choices. I still see a path to the wild card next year, LFG. Jersey Joe, you're in the raffle now for 5. Thank you very much. And look, I like McCown, Jeff. I just worry about the Jets being the team to take that big of a risk. I feel like if they didn't have the longest playoff drought in sports, I'd be more open to it, right? But I can't pull the trigger on McCown over Glenn, over Flores. Maybe they could get Flores and McCown. Maybe Glenn can get McCown to be his OC, or maybe Glenn's taking Mark Brunell with him, who's the quarterbacks coach there in Detroit. But I love Josh McCown. I've actually had him on this show, and he's a great dude. You said it best. Everyone loves Josh McCown. I just don't know if the Jets can afford to be the team to hire a guy who has 2 years of coaching experience and has never been a coordinator before.
You know what my counter to that is? What the hell do they have to lose?
It's true.
Can it really get worse than what we just saw this year with this quote-unquote loaded roster that won 5 football games this year and legitimately beat 1.5 decent team, or excuse me, 1.5 decent teams this year? I'll give Miami a half. But what do they have to lose at this point? I'd rather McCown and again, I think I've settled on assuming Liam Cohen is not ever going to talk to the Jets. They're never going to request that. He's still my number one through and through. It's the top 4, because I haven't mentioned Joe Brady at all, who I think is kind of flying under the radar here, Jake, as low-key an awesome candidate. Just look at the difference between Josh Allen when Dorsey was there and what he is now. That's Joe Brady.
I just don't think we know enough about Brady's leadership if he's ready to lead a whole team.
You know what? I think more so than anything, I don't think he's going to end up with the Jets. I think if Brady ends, remember, Joe Brady was the guy at LSU when Burrow and that epic offense was there. He makes a lot of sense in New Orleans if New Orleans doesn't get Mike McCarthy, which, again, I think I'd rather have Joe Brady than McCarthy at this point, but I get it from New Orleans' perspective if they want to bring in McCarthy. But, I mean, look, the 4 at this point is pretty clear to me, assuming Cohen's not there. It's Glenn, it's Flores, it's McCown, and it's Brady. Those are the 4 guys. If the Jets end up with one of those 4, I'll be pleased. If Liam Cohen comes and actually interviews and they actually request, then Liam Cohen is at the top of that list, and those are the 5 that I'd be more than happy with at this point.
Comments, questions, super chats for Jeff Parles and myself. K&D, shout out to you. Welcome aboard. Michael says, I wish my Mets had as good of a program as yours, Jake, but help me, Jesus, another first-time head coach for our Jets. Look, Michael, I appreciate the super chat for one, and Jeff and I have been talking about this throughout the show. You have to just hope that if they go the first-time head coach route, this guy would be different. And I'll say this for Aaron Glenn. He is definitely qualified. I think if they didn't just come off of the Robert Saleh situation, we'd feel completely different about Aaron Glenn. Because remember, a lot of what we're saying about Glenn, we did say about Saleh, but Saleh was a legitimately awesome candidate. It didn't work, but that doesn't mean that you don't hire Glenn because it didn't work with Saleh. I understand the reservation. I'm right there. I prefer Flores, but now I'm kind of more open to Glenn. They're even for me, but I get why people are a little worried about a first-time coach again. I get it.
Jake, if you look again, it doesn't always work. Every candidate is different. But Todd Bowles was immensely qualified when they hired him. I remember to the point of texting with my dad when the Jets had him in the building.
Super Bowls.
Do not let him out of the building. That's how good of a candidate Todd Bowles was when the Jets hired him. Geez, Todd Bowles did win 10 games that first season.
He did.
Boy, did that backtrack quickly.
Know what happened?
But Robert Saleh was more than qualified for the job. Aaron Glenn is more than qualified for the job. every guy is different at this first time. Look, again, the GM hire is important. And the other thing that's important is Woody staying the hell out of the way once he makes the hires. Like, get the hell out of the way. What happened over the last 15 years where Woody honestly did a reasonable job of staying out of the way until the freaking John Idzik disaster?
Thinking is overrated.
Like, that's really when it changed. Really, the Idzik draft, where he kept all the drafts, is really the turning point of when Woody Johnson went from mediocre owner to bottom tier owner, more so than anything, Jake. Like, they were in the like whenever Chad Pennington was healthy, and then obviously the 2 Rex years, they were in the playoffs basically every year.
Yeah, we grew up. They were always going to the playoffs.
Was healthy, they made the playoffs pretty much every year with Pennington.
Yep.
For Doug Bryan, would have had multiple. They would have had 3 AFC title game appearances.
Hamburg, I really can't wait for this all to be over. I'm enjoying it from a content perspective. It's nice to have like real things to talk about every day because the last month of the year was just brutal. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for them to get to round 2 of these GM interviews and maybe have a coach soon.
Hey, do you think Jeff Ulbrich is live in the search, Jake?
I heard he had a great interview. He walked in there, said hello. He walked out. It was like the Simpsons meme. Hello.
Did he hang the hat on the wall first?
My God. Adam is too cool. I don't know if I read this one. Make Aaron Glenn's dream come true. Oh, we did. All right.
Yeah, we got that, yep.
We're bouncing around today. Bo writes in, question. Let's assume Glenn is the hire as head coach. Jake, you're the OC. Jeff, you're the DC. What are your first 2 moves at OC and DC and 1 trade proposal at each? One of my first moves? I mean, I would encourage the front office to lock up Garrett Wilson if I'm the offensive coordinator of the Jets.
Oh, I mean, the defensive wise, give me a better defensive line. Like, look what happened this year when you traded John Franklin Myers for nothing, where you didn't bring Quinton Jefferson back. Like, part of the reason that Quinton had a down year was because, yeah, he was a little bit worse, but the guys around him weren't as good. Other than McDonald, everyone on that defensive front stunk this past year. Like, the Hassan Reddick trade was an even bigger disaster than we could imagine. JJ getting hurt didn't help things, but it helped the interior of that defensive line. Part of the reason that defensive line was so good in 2022 and 2023 was because they had 7 different guys they could circle back in and out and alongside Quinton and were able to produce. And they had no one alongside Quinton who was able to produce. And also get Michael Clemens off my damn team too. Let's do that as well. Enough. Stop gaslighting us with Michael Clemens. We have eyes. We know he stinks. We know he's a malcontent. Get him off the football team already.
Outrageous. What's well said. Let's see. Jets carpetbaggers, current rankings. McCarthy 1, Flores 2, Glenn 3. How would you feel? We talked about Flores and Glenn already. How would you feel about Mike McCarthy if you wake up 2 weeks from now and it's breaking news the Jets have hired Mike McCarthy?
I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't be like outside with a pitchfork in my hand. Like, I wouldn't be angry. Like, I'd be disappointed that that's what the search got to. But I would be like, all right, well, he's a reasonable offensive coach. He does make the playoffs when his quarterback is healthy. It would be a lukewarm reaction to me. I'd be disappointed again, I think there are a lot better candidates out there than McCarthy in this cycle, recycling a guy again. But there are, again, much rather have him than Matt Nagy, much rather have him than Arthur Smith, much rather have him than a lot of these guys that are at the bottom of the list that I think could be in play. But Flores, Glenn, even McCown, I would prefer I would prefer those guys over McCarthy. He'd be like, Jets are going to probably interview 15 to 18 guys when this is all said and done. He'd probably come in around 8 to 10 on my list. So
he's better than some of the other names for sure. I at least want them to talk to him. I am curious. Do you think if McCarthy's the head coach, most people assume Rodgers is the quarterback? I would agree with that.
I have no idea. That did not end well in Green Bay, Jake.
Yeah, but they like each other. That was my understanding from talking to people.
Look, who the hell knows? Who knows?
Rodgers just swears by him, like every public appearance.
I don't think the Jets are even going to interview McCarthy for what it's worth. I really don't. I just don't. I think especially if the Johnson family's on social media and Mike McCarthy gets skewered every single time the Cowboys play, There's no way. It's just not happening. So I would be. I think Mike McCarthy's ending up in New Orleans personally. That's just me. It's either him or Joe Brady in New Orleans at this point.
Which, by the way,
everything I've heard and been told.
If McCarthy goes to New Orleans, that's good for the Jets because I think that's an Aaron Glenn possibility. And all of a sudden, I think Glenn to the Jets, like it's right there for if they want it.
I mean, look, if the Jets, again, based off everything we've heard, we've seen everything, there's no way that if the Jets want Aaron Glenn is coming. Like I think it's as simple as that, Jake. Like if the Jets want Aaron Glenn is named their head coach 5 days after Detroit gets eliminated from the playoffs. And if Detroit makes the Super Bowl and if Detroit makes the Super Bowl, he'll be named the Jets head coach the day after the parade is, whenever that happens to be, if Detroit wins it all.
Bill checks in with an Asmaniac super check. Can I gift memberships on the iPad? I don't think you can because YouTube is ridiculous, but it's good to see that Bill figured out how to just send in a $20 super chat instead because he's in the raffle for 5. Jake, Woody on record saying he won't hire a VP, so I don't think 2 guys getting hired. Glenn, Brady, Flores, McCown in that order. Big Klecko fan. Woody's not on record saying that, Bill, so I'm not sure where you heard that. That's not true. In fact, Jeremy Fowler said that there is speculation in the industry, not that he's reporting it, but that it's been talked about, of the Jets maybe making 2 front office hires, which is why I think they have interviewed 15 GM candidates. So I stand corrected if you send me a link where Woody said on the record he's not going to hire a VP of football ops, because I have not seen that anywhere.
I don't know. I haven't seen that anywhere either. I mean, it's Woody. Anything's in play, though.
Mike Tannenbaum's going to go to him and be like, what if I'm the VP of football ops and I'll hire a GM underneath me? 33rd team, baby. Yeah. Jeff, I know you got to run. I appreciate you hopping on, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you. We'll see you again next week.
All right, real quick. Will we have a GM this time next week?
Knowing our luck, it will come after the show ends on Wednesday next week.
All right.
Where you're going to have to do another show like 25 minutes after this one ends. That's what I think will happen, Jay.
That's happened a lot to me. I appreciate it, Jeff. All the love.
Yeah, you got it, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the big tuna, Jeff Parles, joining us there. King and Dreams writes in, if we get Glenn, I'm going to drop $1,000. Hashtag Team Glenn. Well, I'll tell you what, KD, if you want to put that into my Venmo instead of YouTube getting 30% of 1,000, I'm in. And don't worry, I'll definitely give some memberships if K&D comes through like that. Les writes in, Johnson didn't talk to the Jets out of respect for Glenn. Maybe. I don't hate that theory. I don't know if that's true, though, Les, but I hope it's true. That'd be awesome, I guess. But I also would want to talk to Ben Johnson. Micro Fox, Bill O'Brien would be a really good candidate. As someone who covered Bill O'Brien for, I guess, 4 of his years with the Texans before he got fired, no, he would not be. He would not be. Bill O'Brien is not good with the media. He'd get eaten alive here. He has a major temper problem. I don't think that'd be a good fit. I think Bill O'Brien's a pretty good coach. Bill O'Brien, the GM, got him fired, not Bill O'Brien, the head coach. Like, he did, like, what was Deshaun Watson without Bill O'Brien, by the way? No one ever talks about that. But I don't think so. As someone who knows Bill personally, I don't think so. Rock and Rant checks in with a super chat. I don't doubt Aaron Glenn could be a good head coach, but I'm old enough to remember where the consensus was we needed an experienced head coach with offensive background. Yeah, 100% Rock and Rant. I guess the problem with this is the options out there aren't great, right? The Jets aren't going to get to interview Liam Cohen, it doesn't feel like. They're not interviewing Mike McCarthy. At least to this point, they haven't. They're not interviewing Todd Monken. They're not interviewing Cliff Kingsbury. So I agree with you. In theory, experienced coach with offensive background makes sense. But I can only base my evaluation on who I want based on who they've actually spoken to. You guys know I want them to interview John Gruden. You guys know I want them to interview Pete Carroll or Mike McCarthy. They're 2 offensive-minded guys with experience, with rings jingling and jangling from their damn fingers. But I can't force Woody or Tannenbaum to do it. So of the the actual candidates that are viable options that they've spoken to, for me, it's Flores and Glenn is my top 2 right now. That's how I look at it. Joe checks in. Hey, Jeff, why Cohen over the other guys? Joe, so he talked about it earlier. He loves Cohen because of the job he's done with Mayfield, all the injuries they had this year, how good the offense was. He did a great job with Will Levis in college. Will Levis played his best ball under Liam Cohen. So he just might be kind of like a quarterback guru, like what Kevin O'Connell has proven to do with Minnesota. That's why. Ryan with a super chat. Keep talking about the GM and head coach. This really about the OC. The biggest need with the fewest options being discussed. It's critical in today's NFL. Well, we don't know the options, Ryan. That's why. It's tough to talk about options when you don't know who the coach is. If you know who the coach is, then you can go through their history and see if there's any guys that stand out. Like Aaron Glenn, John Morton's a name that got mentioned, who actually did a really good job with McCown in that year in 2017, believe it or not. Another name that's been mentioned with Glenn has been Mark Brunell, former Jet. He's been the quarterback coach of the Lions the last 3 seasons. Would Glenn take him with him to the Jets? Like, you're trying to connect the dots if it's going to be Glenn. Let's see. The Detroit Lions passing game coordinator. Let's see if that's a different coach that we don't know. Tanner Engstrand is the passing game coordinator for the Lions. Former tight ends coach. Maybe he's someone that could be the guy that Glenn takes with him. I don't know enough about him to know if he's ready for that jump. He's a young guy. He's only 42. He's been coaching since 2005. He started off in college with San Diego. Then he was with an analyst at Michigan in 2018 under Harbaugh. He was the OC and running backs coach of the DC Defenders in 2020. That's the AAF, by the way. Or actually, no, that's the XFL, the original, or not the original, but part 2 of the XFL, pre-COVID. Then he joined the Lions in 2020, offensive assistant, offensive quality control. He's been promoted every year. Tight ends coach in 2022 and passing game coordinator. 2023, he's just the passing game coordinator. That's a name to watch there. I could see Glenn poaching him. Remember, Saleh took LaFleur with him, right? That was the pass game coordinator for the Niners. So you look at the quarterback coach, you look at the pass game coordinator if you try and connect the dots to who maybe Aaron Glenn would take with him on his staff. King and Dream says, what do you mean if? You know I'm good for a G. K&D, if Aaron Glenn becomes the Jet head coach and you Venmo me $1,000, we will have what we like to call K&D Day, the first ever of its kind on the Jake Asman channel. Cha-ching. We can only hope we all be making K&D money. Michael writes in, congrats on the anniversary, Jake. Get Glenn now. I know. Crazy. 4 years ago. It's kind of when this version of the show started. I'll go back in time. Here is 2 minutes of my reaction to the Jets hiring Robert Saleh on this day 4 years ago. I posted this video separate from other videos on the channel at the time, which was just segments from my nationally syndicated radio show on SB Nation Radio. Then I said, this video blew up. Maybe I'll start doing Jet videos on the side from the radio show. And the genesis of the Jake Asman Show, Jets version, was born. All right, Jake Asman here. I just wanted to do a quick reaction video to the Jets officially announcing they have hired Robert Saleh as their next head coach. Let's start with the obvious. He's not Adam Gase, so we are already off to a much better start this time around than we were 2 years ago. They have wasted the last 2 years, and that is why they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. The first thing with Saleh that stands out is that he's going to coach the entire team. He's a leader of men. This guy is so highly thought of. He is someone that players love playing for. He's learned from a bunch of really good coaches, including Kyle Shanahan, including, of course, Pete Carroll. So I'm excited about it from that aspect. And going into the search as a Jet fan, I wanted someone that was that CEO type of personality. They don't need an offensive genius or a defensive guru. They need someone that could coach the entire team. Robert Saleh can coach the entire team. His first press conference sometime next week will automatically make every Jet fan super excited. Now, it's not just about the press conference. It's about actually producing wins on the field. But I think Saleh will give the Jets a chance to be drastically improved moving forward. What I also like about this hiring is the fact that Joe Douglas made the hire, right? This wasn't Peyton Manning's recommendation. This wasn't Christopher Johnson deciding to hire a search firm to make this decision. The football guy made the football decision. That's how it should be. Joe Douglas is highly respected. We like what he did during his first draft. People around the league think he's the guy long-term to help get the Jets steered in the right direction. He needed to make this hire, and he did make the hire. And that is the most important aspect about all of it. Plus, I love the fact that Joe Douglas had no working relationship with Robert Saleh. He was so blown away by Saleh in the interview process, the Jets had him come in for a second interview and then hired him a day later. So that excites me. I'm talking about Aaron Glenn. Like everything I said there about Saleh, right? He was a great candidate. Everything we felt about Saleh, leader of men, learn from great coaches, coach the whole team. That's Aaron Glenn. So I like Aaron Glenn. He's a really good candidate. Robert Saleh was a great candidate when they hired him. That's why I was excited then, as were probably most of you watching. You never know. You never know. Like Robert Saleh was a really good candidate for the reasons why Jake 3 years ago or 4 years ago today outlined it. I mean, yeah, the Jets have aged me. Peace, baby. They've taken years off my life. Hair off my body. Terrible. Here's Ben Johnson earlier today being asked about Aaron Glenn.
I think I told you guys this last year. He is beyond qualified right now. You hear all of our players singing his praises right now, and that's exactly what I would do. I would second that. I mean, he is more prepared to be a head coach than maybe anybody I've ever met. He wants that, and I think he's doing a phenomenal job in charge.
And I didn't interview for the Jets job because Aaron Glenn told me that's his dream job. I don't know. Everything we said about Saleh, we're now saying about Glenn. It's very similar. The difference is Glenn played for the Jets, so he maybe has a better idea how to handle the media here and the market, all that. But, Saleh was a good candidate too. You hope, obviously, it's better for Aaron Glenn, but, obviously Rex Ryan, who was the last successful coach the Jets had, he was a defensive guy. You gotta just hit on the coach. And if the coaching staff is almost as important as the head coach too. The OC hire for Aaron Glenn is going to be incredibly important. And just because I played Ben Johnson and I immediately saw, the reaction from one Allen in the chat, we're going to put Allen in Stupid Town for 5 minutes because he annoys me for no other reason.
F you! F you! F you too!
It's now an Allen-free zone for 5 minutes. Thank God. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. We're going to get to your calls coming up on the Gusbuster hotline. Thanks again to Jeff Parles for joining us. Mike D's Nuts writes in, how fast does Lardass go to the hole today? Well, Mike, I'm not sure who Lardass is. You're going to have to clarify. You're going to have to clarify. We're presented today by Huga House. The hat I'm wearing, get the same one or any of the hats from Huga House. 15% off with code Asman at checkout. Huga House in 2 days is dropping hoodies. So get a Huga House hoodie as well if you want one. Promo code Asman, 15% off. And by the way, buy one hat, second hat is 30% off. So get the hat that I'm always rocking. Bunch of athletes and entertainers are always rocking. Aaron Rodgers is always repping. HugaHouse.com. Promo code Asman at checkout so you could receive 15% off. All right, your call is coming up. Let's check the chat. Let's see where we're at. No new super chats. Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug on the couch is first up. Hello, Doug.
Jake, how the hell are you today?
I'm good, Doug. How are you?
I can't complain. Well, I could, but do you want to hear it?
Well, you can complain.
Nah, don't worry about it. So
what's wrong, Doug? Let me help you.
Life is a
Get
bitch.
on the couch, all right? This is therapy.
Life's a bitch. That's the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, I feel that.
But as I would say, I agree with you on the coaching stuff. But all I can think about when you were showing that video of you 4 years ago is the thing from what's the Matthew McConaughey movie? where he's like in the spaceship and he can see the past. I can't remember the name. But all I can think about is him slamming that window, going, "No, no, 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 no."
I don't think that's McConaughey. I think isn't that Ant-Man? Aren't you confusing the
No,
actors?
no, it's McConaughey. There's a movie like he's like stuck in. I can't remember the name of the movie. It's a Christopher Nolan movie. I can't remember the name of the movie though.
Interstellar is.
Yes, Interstellar.
Oh, I never seen Interstellar.
Okay, well then never mind. But just you think back, man.
I thought you think of the Paul Rudd scene in Ant-Man when he's in the time machine and he's seeing what he's.
No, I'm thinking of like there's a scene like when he's in a spaceship. It's a hard movie to if you don't see Interstellar, it's hard to explain.
No spoilers. It is on my list to watch. I'm a busy guy.
But yeah, I get more into Glenn. Honestly, I kind of think about it. If we have similar to what the Lions had, like with the Dan Campbell, if we have a bad first year, it's like okay. But you saw the build in that second year. If you get that, I can live with that. And you think a lot of people thought, man, Dan Campbell, is he really going to be the guy? So, and look what he's here now. As long as he gets the OC hire right and the staff right, that's all that matters. It's more the staff than the head coach nowadays. If you get the offensive guy, yeah, he'll call the offense. But the staff they bring around him is the most important part of these new coaching hires and anything. And for GM, I really want Borgonzi. I hope that's who they get. I think that's who he's on the Jets list from what I've read from just people saying it on Twitter and stuff. So I hope it's Borgonzi, and then I hope it's either Flores or Glenn at this point.
Fair. I like the names you threw out there. Glenn excites me more than he did. Him turning down the Pats, him saying to people the Jets are his dream job. Number one choice, did they offer it to him? His answer today at the press conference. It's a great answer. It's what you want to hear. But I still like Brian Flores a lot as a candidate and think the Jets need to seriously consider him as well.
I'd agree. And then I would have my 3 as Brady and my 4 as McCown. The only reason why I have 3 as Brady is just because what he did at LSU and he has a more proven track record as a coordinator, play caller, long time doing the thing versus McCown, who like going from quarterback coach to head coach is a big leap. So that's why I would just put Brady over McCown. But those would be my top 4.
Jay Quest is not a fan of your fake couch. He wants the real thing.
Well, I'll get a different fake couch tomorrow. So Jay Quest. So
why do you need a fake couch? What happened to the real couch?
It's getting cleaned.
Really? How long does it take to get clean?
I don't know, but I also like sometimes I'm at my girlfriend, sometimes I'm at my apartment. So you got to.
Ooh, look at you! You live in Michigan, Doug? I forget.
I used to live in Michigan. Now I live in Boston, which sucks. That's why I was at that's game.
Right. So you're in Boston. How long have you been dating your girlfriend?
About 2 months now.
How's it going?
Pretty good. Can't complain. She's
now
really...
2 months of dating or 2 months that you've been in a declared relationship?
2 months of like talking, a month and a half of like officially like dating.
2 months of talking and a month. Okay. So all in all, we're talking about like a 3.5 month type of thing.
Yeah.
All right. This sounds promising, Doug. I'm excited.
It's a good time. It's a good time.
How'd you guys meet?
The old dating apps, Hinge.
Ooh, Hinge is a good one. Nice job.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I really can't complain.
Now, Dave wants to know, did you get a job?
I have a part-time job, not a full-time job.
Are you looking for a full-time job?
I'm always looking for a full-time job.
Well, what do you do? Maybe an Asmaniac can hire you.
I have a communications degree from Quinnipiac. I used to work as a
Great school.
Yeah. I was a customer service rep at DraftKings for 1.5 years. I've worked in sales. I've worked in every industry.
You're a man of many titles.
I am. I'm a man of many titles and many talents.
Captain of industry. All right. Well, if anyone has a job for Doug on the couch, you're willing to leave the couch for the job, correct?
100%.
All right. Alan suggests that you could work for Bobby at Burger King.
I do not want to work at Burger King or with Bobby. I don't know if Bobby would run a Burger King all that well.
I think he would do a great job.
Well, there's only one way to find out. Get Bobby to run a Burger King.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, Doug. Will you keep us posted on everything? All right.
Will do. Have a great day, Asmaniacs, and to you, Jake.
And Doug, this is for you.
Hey, congrats on the sex.
All right. More of your calls now, shall we? I did see this super chat, so let me get to this first. I want Aaron Glenn. It's from Dante. I just pray to the football gods that he and the GM have success. It'd be so cool if an all-time Jet becomes a successful head coach with this franchise of ours. Look, it's worked for the Texans. They hired D'Amico. Mike Vrabel went back to the Patriots. We know he's a good coach. Coach Prime in Dallas could be a thing. Dion could go to the Cowboys. I don't know if it's going to happen, but they're at least discussing it. It's possible. Chris, thanks for the super chat. Beastbreaker writes in, Jake, I'm calm now. All right. Let's try and have a nice, calm phone call with Beastmaker without everyone in the chat screaming and yelling at the guy. All right. Let the man make his points. Don't attack him. Don't provoke him. Let's hear him out. Let's come together and support the Beast.
Holy crap, here comes Beastbreaker 666.
Why don't you get your fat ass on a treadmill and go the distance with me?
Is that Bobby Midnight?
I'm not into politics, and I already told you that.
I might be big, but I'm going to be bad enough to put you out.
Beastbreaker always has some salient points.
Beast?
Buenos noches, amigos. ¿Cómo estás? Hold on, I'm going to put this on headset, make it easier for everybody. Can you hear me clear?
Yeah, Beast, I got you loud and clear.
Okay, check. Okay, I was going to say testicles 1, 2, 3. Testicles 1, 2, 3. All right, we're clear. We're good. Aaron Glenn. During the Parcells era, he was one kind of a guy that will knock someone's teeth out. Him, Victor Green, Otis Smith, and then also add who was it? Oh man, John Hall. You can't beat that team. The Parcells era was phenomenal. It was the golden age. And then Rex comes in. He made it look like he was bringing the second golden age. And then all of a sudden, we were like this. And then all of a sudden, right into the we tanked. We tanked for so long, and it's embarrassing. I mean, we do not need Adam Gacy. I'm sorry, the guy is crap. Robert Saleh is crap. Joe Douglas, he blew the whole team out of the water with his garbage. We don't need him. The guy was a bum. I mean, come on. I would give this guy 5 cents on the street and go, here's 5 cents. Go get some socks if you can find it. But like I said, I think what's going to come down to is we're going to get our 3 candidates. We're going to have Rex, we're going to have Aaron, and I think maybe a possibility Brian Flores. I think that's going to happen. I think we might have it. But before we get to the Super Bowl, let's build on playoff contention first. Playoff contention is what we have to build first. And I mean, let's start 10-4. Nah. We need to be 12-4. 12-4 to get in. 13-3, that'd be great. 14-2, maybe I'd like to see that happen. And I know we are not going to be like the '85 Bears. I was going to say nope, that'll never happen, not in a million years. But if what we have to focus on first is playoff contention. That's rule 1. Playoff first. But before we get to the playoffs, we get the guys we need. And we have to do it with strength, honor, and discipline. We are lacking in discipline. I mean, we do not need guys like, Michael Clemens. I don't know. I'm not sure on him. Is he injury prone or what is he? Come on, Jake. Is he injury prone or what?
Do you see the super chat from your lawyer?
I know who this might look like, and I have a funny feeling who this guy is. This sounds like a Bobby Beasley from a mile away. I can detect this because this man is an asshole. I have no respect for him. He is a disgrace. And I'm not going to yell and scream today. I've already had my blood pressure cranked up. I'm going to keep quiet and not talk about this. This is typical, where people want to get me mad. No.
Good job, Beast. Don't take the bait. I would say Michael Clemens is not injury prone. He's just bad at football and should be cut immediately.
I think it's time to say, Michael Clemens, you've been great. Unfortunately, in the words of the great Vince McMahon, as he once said, you're fired. Yeah, am I correct, Jake? Time to say you're fired to this bum?
Absolutely. Full Vince McMahon firing of Clemens.
The guy has to go. It's called, dude, you were great. Pink slip, out. You got to go, bro. You're not worth the effort. And here's the thing with defense. I want our boys to be big, and I'm talking hungry big. Do you remember how the 98 Jets were? They were scary. I mean, they were scary enough to eat the line alive. They were like, I'll give you a hit. Picture Rocky Balboa and Apollo Creed on different sides. You imagine how scary that looks.
I'll tell you what, Beast, the chat is agreeing with you. Joe M just wrote, Beast appearances are getting better and better.
This is what I look at. If we can get $10 billion out, but we have to study our opponents wisely. Go everywhere in the United States, find the talent, get the checkbook out, find whatever give them whatever they want. But here's the deal. When you come up here to New York, you're not going to get that check handedly. No free hand. No free hand. You want to earn this check? You're going to get off your ass. You're going to work for it. You're going to sweat, and you're going to take an ass whooping. And here's the thing, too. Injuries. We will pay for ice. We will have bandages. But if you're badly beaten up and you're badly swollen, we're going to get you on to that cart, and we're getting you to the hospital. But here's the deal. 3-4 weeks, you're going to stay out. You're going to stay out, and if your leg is healed and if you're ready, you give us a sign, and we'll have you ready. And that's going to be a fair deal. We'll have backups. We will have the best backups. We're not going to sit on our ass and play twiddle our thumbs. No,
now, Beast,
not this time.
Can I ask you about paying for ice? Why is that an important part of your plan?
Because number one, that is also part of for healing. Ice has always been the best number one answer because it helps the bones. It helps get back the cure in the legs. Plus, it also helps out get some of that that blood circulating back into that body. If you don't have it, then you're up shit without a paddle. I don't. The thing is, I want our boys to be healthy, smart. But here's the thing. If you're badly banged up, off to the hospital. No choice. We're not responsible for your injuries. No. We're responsible for your health, and we're responsible for your life. That's what we're going to tell you. You're here for the job, and here's the thing. If we make it to the playoffs, we're going to shut up, we're going to play hard, and we're not going to celebrate until we win the Super Bowl.
Hey, Beast, Zach writes in, do you live in a cave? How come it's always so dark when you call in lately?
Well, the sun's starting to set here.
Do you have lights in your undisclosed location?
Yeah, but right now I'm trying to cut back on bills because everything's getting expensive right now, and I'm trying to cut down. It's everything, and right now I want to focus on one other thing. When we get to the playoffs, no celebrating. No. We're going to act smart. We're going to shut up. We're going to play hard, and we're going to hit teams right full in the face and tell them we're here and we're not playing around. We've been a laughing stock for 14 years. It's embarrassing, and it makes me want to cry.
Just gifted a channel membership, Beast. How about that?
Touchdown. That's what I say. Touchdown. But here's the thing. If we make Super Bowl, and I'm saying if, no celebrating. You get up, you look ready, you look focused. You stay as champions, you go out as champions, and you fight like champions. You're gonna get you might get it, you might bleed a little, but that's okay. We're gonna have the bandages and the ice ready, and we're gonna tell our boys, don't let these bastards knock you down. You knock them down. You knock them in the face. You punch their eyes out. You knock their lights out. And we're going to tell every team in the NFL, we're not playing anymore. We're tired of being kicked around. For 14 years, how many times have we been kicked around? Over 1,000 times? Enough's enough.
Hey, Beast, Rich just wrote in, so inspiring. You're inspiring the masses, Beast.
Hold on, I'm trying to fix my mic here. You can hear me, right?
Oh, we got you, Beast. Can you see the comment on the screen?
Yes. So the thing is, this is what I want from our men. No fooling around this season. Preseason, here's the deal. We're going to let the young kids play, but they're going to have to learn the game real fast. We keep Aaron Rodgers on the bench. We're going to work with our stars. We want to see our stars play. But when it comes regular season, we're gonna mix the quarterbacks up. Mix them up. I don't want Aaron.
Nuts writes in, Rob versus Beast now. Do you want to challenge Rob V?
Right now, I have to worry about my heart first. But if I feel up to it, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well,
But
Rob,
because
call in. We'll maybe do the press conference here or the face off before the actual battle. We'll get a feel for each other.
There's one thing I'm gonna say. This year, no more fooling around. We're going to every college, and we got that checkbook. We're not Robert Kraft in the words of Billy, we're not the patsies, with their little cheap checkbook, the cheap excuse checkbook of theirs, their 25-cent nothing happening shit. No, we're not that. We're more like $100,000, $250,000. We're up there. And we're also $10 billion too. We're the most expensive team in the NFL, and we get how many draft picks do we get every year? We're always in the top 10. You know why? Because we suck. I'm not answering this question. Nope. Next question. Next question, Jake.
Okay. Let me get the questions for you. Also, Rob V asking for the link. It's pinned in the chat, brother. It's there.
Well, I'm just making points right now.
Your lawyer writes in, Beast, tell them the story you told me about the bologna and your couch cushions and how there was mustard everywhere.
What kind of stupid question is this? I did not talk about this. This is phony. I'm trying to make NFL points here. If you're going to sit here and besmirch, belittle me, and knock me on my ass, no. Not my fault for it.
Those fingers look like cooked boneless pork.
I'm not answering this question. Delete.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rob V has called in, and he is ready for a rumble with Beastbreaker. The only problem is the rumble will not happen because the big fella just paid $50 to send the Beast to the hole.
Fuck you, Beast! Fuck you!
Now look what you've done. Beastbreaker 666. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to cut your call off and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. Do you understand me? You catch my drift?
Are you seriously on crack? I think
give him another 24 hours to think about it.
How about you bending over and taking up the booty hole behind the 7-Eleven?
Man, big fella, we had a rumble. The rules are rules. If you want the Beast revived, someone gift 10 memberships, and Rob V has called in. He's ready to go with the Beast. Is that right, Rob?
Yes, sir, man. What's good? Big fella, horrible timing, bro.
Tough.
Where's someone else? We need these memberships up. I'd do it myself if I could, but I'm on the phone.
10 memberships or a $50 super chat, and we'll bring back the Beast.
Bring the Beast back. Let me speak to him for a few minutes.
Now, are you immediately going to rumble with him, or are you going to try and rational?
No, I'm not PBM, Jake. You know this, bro. I'm not PBM. We're going straight into it. Pause.
Well, make sure we don't hit below the belt is all I'm going to say, all right?
How about this? I'll leave. I'll be in the chat, and whenever you guys are ready, I'll go back.
Stay right there. Rob Basil. 10 memberships in the raffle. The Beast has been revived. Ladies and gentlemen, back from the hole.
Beastbreaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass. And then he's gobbled goo.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beast has returned. Beast, are you ready to rumble?
In the words of the great Michael Buffer, and now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
I cannot hear you, my friend. Can't hear you. Let me dig a signal here. Come on. I can't hear you. You're on mute. You're on mute. What are we talking with
That
here?
was the worst Rumble ever, man. What happened there, Rob V? Rob V couldn't even get his audio to work. Beast, he's afraid of you, it looks like. What's happening?
Can somebody please go get me a real sandwich? Italian beef at the bottom, corned beef on top of the Italian beef, salami extra, Virginia ham thin sliced, gabagool, 3 to 4 slices of gabagool, cheese. I'm talking nice shredded cheese, and also now the mustard goes on top of that cheese. Mayo, shredded lettuce, and make sure that bun is perfectly sealed. Boom. There you go, service. Oh, and the place, oh man, it's the deli guy. Go to Parkwood Deli. Did you ever hear that place? Parkwood Deli?
Rob V's internet is back. Rob, are you ready to rumble?
This guy.
Your mic is muted, Rob. Your mic is muted. We can't hear you.
We cannot hear you, Canal.
Can't hear you, Rob. Mic is muted.
Migo, you're muted. You're down.
You're gone, Rob. You're gone. We gave you 2 chances at the Beast. You missed both. You're 0 for 2. Beast remains undefeated on this show.
Should we say another swing? Another miss. The whiff. Now, can we get back to business here? Shall we, folks? Now, preseason starts in August. I know we're gonna get the Giants again, but it would be great. It would be great to see. You know what I would like to see, Jake? The Giants on the left side and the Jets sign on the right side. But here's the thing: you put the Giants logo on the left side and the Jets logo on the other side. Have a nice little combination fight. Wouldn't you like to see that?
I would, Beast. I'll tell you what. Rob V just messaged me in the private chat. I'm ready. I unmuted. This will be his last opportunity to go toe-to-toe with you. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob V.
Let me say this before we begin.
You can hear me now?
All right. Now, in this corner here. C.
Go ahead, Dick Face. Go ahead.
Dick Face? Hey, listen, Pellickhead. I'm trying to make some loud points loud and clear. Now, if you were part of my team, I would give you a razor and tell you, here's the razor. Get your ass in that bathroom and shave that shit off.
It is. I can't hear him.
I said, get you. Jake, say it again. Another swing.
Winner by TKO. Here we go. Beast. A winner by TKO. I'm putting the belt around you right now, big guy. You're the champ.
So ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding.
You want
Match over.
You got it.
There we go. All right. Now, let's get down to some facts. Pittsburgh Steelers, you guys ain't got no choice against us now. I'm like, you guys are weak now. Okay, you're not going to have Tomlin because he's a joke. I mean, sure, he's old, he's stale, he's punchy, he's not worth it. Cleveland, I don't see anything I don't see anything about them that's going to be good about them. Stale. Patriots, all we're going to do to them is we're going to sing London Bridge is Coming Down to them because they're going to be, nice and crushed. Buffalo, we're going to get serious when we play Buffalo. And Rex is going to tell these boys, no fooling around. No. We're going to beat Buffalo.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
Oh, look at this. Look at this guy. Where did he come from? Where did he come from?
BB666.
You know who you're talking.
Your moniker's trash. like you.
Really?
Get rid of that
Nah,
moniker.
Sonny.
It's evil, like you.
Nah,
Why do you
Sonny.
have that moniker?
Because
Why do you
I'm
have that 666?
because it's part of my gimmick.
What's your
Did you ever
gimmick? Idiocy? What is it? What's your gimmick? You always talk
metal?
wrestling. What's your gimmick? You
Metal,
what?
moron.
Listen,
son,
you big piece of gabagoo.
Hey,
That's all you are, a big piece of trash.
You
Trash.
are old. You are old news.
Trash.
You need to take a
Mr.
walk.
Trash, Mr. Trash
Hey,
Mouth.
walk.
666. Evil.
Walk.
Mr.
Walk.
Evil.
Walk.
Dr.
Get lost.
Sardonicus. You know who that is? That's you. You make no sense. 0 cents.
Get out of
buddy.
here.
0
Get out of here.
cents.
Go take your
You have
go,
a
go
brain
get
of
your
a
Dr.
pea.
Scholes.
You make BMAC look brilliant. You know what?
Yeah, right.
You make BMAC look brilliant. That's how stupid you are. Laugh, clown. Laugh, you big clown. The clown of clowns.
You know
That's
what?
what you are.
Hey, obey
you
your
clown.
master.
You
Your
clown.
life's
Big
calling faster.
clown.
Yeah,
Clown.
obey
You're a
your master.
crap clown.
You know what?
Clown. That's
Master
all
of
you
puppets,
are.
I'm pulling your strings.
Where's the rats
Twisting
up in
your mind,
attic?
smashing your
What you
dreams.
eat for dinner?
Blinded by
What you
me,
eat
you
for
can't
dinner,
see
you
a thing.
rat?
Just call my name and I'll hear you scream.
You
Get lost.
a rat.
Get lost, you Dr.
You're a
Scholes.
rat, buddy. You're a fraud.
Yeah, and
You're a
you're
fraud.
you're a fake.
You're a fraud.
Get your 80-year-old ass out of here, you troll bag. Shit stain. What a shit stain. What a sorry excuse.
Fraud. Mr. Fraud. That's who you are.
Yeah. What a moron. Wow, what a moron. If I thought I seen dummies in my life, but that's a dummy. Not even close to a cigar.
Beast,
Gracias.
you stayed undefeated. Dave Brigger's internet just crashed out in the middle of all that. You got him.
Just like that Machine Head song once said, your world comes crashing all around, smashing all around you. Yeah. When will you see that you cannot hide from me? Another win?
Chat, yeah, they're saying another KO for you. I mean, Brigger was giving you a fight. That was a battle, but his internet died.
It try to choke the chicken, choke the goose, spoof the goose. Hey, what you see is what you get. Oh well, not my problem. It's called hey, learn to accept your own failure. But I'll tell you what, Jake, I'm gonna tell you something. If we make playoffs, I'm gonna be the first guy to put $50 in this year. I'll put it in.
I love it.
And you know what? I wouldn't mind saying hello to Bobby. I hope he got that Burger King job. And to everybody who insults Bobby Midnight on here, hey, you leave that man alone. He's trying to get a job, and he's trying to have his life. So let him have his peace.
Well said, Beast. Beast, one of your finest moments in this show. Well done today.
Hey, muchos gracias, amigo. And one of these days, if I ever get a chance to meet you, we're going out for tacos.
Hell yeah, Beast. Let's go.
Beast Breaker 666. He's the man who would kick your ass, and then he's gabagoo.
Today, Beast Breaker might have become a fan favorite. Today, Beast Breaker might have become babyface for all you wrestling fans out there. Rob B, Dave Brigger, disgraceful internet. And look who just called in here claiming they want in. Are you kidding me? Beast, we might have another challenger for you. Stand by. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
B-Mac. Look at my TV. B-Mac. I love Aaron Rodgers. Jets. Go Jets.
Beast, get your fat ass back on here, boy. You can't run away from me. From the B to the M to the A to the C. From the B-Mac.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Beast.
I don't think
Come on, boy.
B-Mac. Your
Can't
internet
run
is
away from
worse.
this.
Your internet is worse than Brigga's and Rob V's combined. I don't think you have it in you.
Yeah, at least I tried to.
Point.
I tried.
Exactly my point. I mean, You people who call the show every day, get better internet.
Beast.
Hey, you hater guy. Alan sucks and JJ can kiss my ass before I wipe.
It's not that hard to call up your Wi-Fi company and ask for a better connection. Or take out your phone, download the StreamYard app. There's an app for this show, StreamYard. And copy and paste the link I pin in the chat every show. And use that. It is not that hard. Ricky NY has terrible internet, but his phone works perfect now because he calls in from his phone. It can be done. It can be done. I can't take it anymore. Enough. Fix your internet, B-Mac. It's not that hard. Oh, my God. Fix your internet. Jeez. Take out your phone and call in that way. Get off the Wi-Fi and fix it. Enough. I'm not doing it anymore, man. I have like cancer in my ears from all the choppy internet sound effects that I get magnified wearing headphones all day for doing 4.5 hours of jet talk a day. I can't do it anymore, man. Fix your internet. BMAC. My God. And people call from the phone and it doesn't work. It's more understandable. You sit there in the same damn room constantly every day. You sit there, you wear the same damn hat every day, and you can't figure out how to call this show, and you've been calling for 2 years. I can't take it anymore. I can't. Oh, my God. Oh, stop. Fix it. For the love of God, fix it. More of your calls right now.
Constantly play down to competition. How the hell did he lose to Zach Wilson when Zach Wilson was fucking trash? Let me finish, okay? Are you... What's up?
Hello, V-Man.
What is that? Become my new intro thing now?
I'll mix and match.
All right. Well, you know, one thing I do like about Aaron Glenn is, you know, I like the fact that he's coming from a perennial loser organization like the Lions. Like, you know, being a part of that type of turnaround, you know? Look, there are very few organizations like the Jets that have that long history of mediocrity with bad drafts, you know, nightmare playoff games, struggling, you know, bad coach after bad coach. You know, the Lions are one of them. Just the Lions, the Jets, and the Browns are probably the three organizations I could say that are in that level of mediocrity. And, you know, being a part of that turnaround gives you, like, a different perspective, like, you know, because you can talk to a guy. You can say, you know, look, I've been through this, you know. I said, I came in here, you know, right after, you know, right after the disaster that was Matt Patricia, when everything was awful. Everything was a nightmare scenario. And, you know, we put in the work. We stuck our hands in the turf or the grass, whatever you want to, whichever one it is. I don't know what they have in Detroit, you know, and they got their ass to work. They you know, they worked their butts off. They brought in the right people. And look, if we can do that in Detroit, there's no reason we can't do that here. You know? And I like that about him.
Hey, hold on one second. I see B-Mac is in the chat right now. B-Mac, I love you, but you have to fix your actually, I really don't love you right now. You have to fix your internet, and unfortunately, you haven't been able to do it, and you leave me with no choice.
Yeah, no,
until hold on, B-Man. Until he gets better internet, welcome to the hole. Now look what you've done, B-Mac. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to cut your call off and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. Do you understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
So like I was saying, you know, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. I was talking about being a part of the long-time losing organization. I like that about Like, being able to show that, hey, look, we turned around. I was a part of the turnaround of the Lions. If we can get that organization turned around, there's no reason we can't turn around the Jets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I there's a lot to like about Aaron Glenn as a candidate. He just has never been a coach before. That is the only main concern.
I know that's the concern. And like I've said it before, I think there's a bonus of having, like I said, the former player. Because you understand you also understand the organization. I like his scouting background, obviously. That's always a good thing, being able to have help identify talent. And like I said, being a former player of this team, you understand the division, how important these divisional games are. I think in a way that I don't think anyone else really can, because it's different. Like every coach will tell you how important it is to win in the division, but it's different when you yourself have played in those divisional games.
I agree. You're always big on the divisional games, V, man. That's been a point you've made for years.
Because look, ultimately, the goal is to get into the playoffs. We want the playoffs. We don't just want we want the playoffs. We want a home playoff game. These are things we want to see because like I said, the last time the Jets had a home playoff game, the Twin Towers was in theaters. The second Lord of the Rings film.
Yes.
The Two Towers. The Two Towers. Sorry. Yeah, that was the name of the movie. The second Lord of the Rings movie was in theaters, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That was the last time the Jets. So it's like the Jets. We want, we should like aspire. We want to see a home playoff. We don't want to just. You got to win this division, and to do that, you got to win in division. And and it's important. And I think the problem with the Jets is sometimes we've seen it over these last few years where they lack that intensity in these divisional games. Like,
well, they've sucked. They haven't won enough games against anyone. Forget division opponents.
I know, but like it seems that but in your division you're supposed to play more intensely. Remember last year they were no shows against the Dolphins. This year they got completely torched by the Bills. It seems every year there's always that one divisional matchup where they just are just like completely dead in. Like the last few years, it seems like that. There's always that one divisional matchup game where they're just like I said, they're dead in. They're not alive. They don't put any up. They don't put a real fight in. And I'm thinking when you're bringing in a guy like Glenn who's played all these divisional games, he's going to emphasize. We cannot fall asleep in these games. We got to take every game. I don't care. If this is a down year for this team. If the Dolphins are falling apart, or maybe the Patriots are still trash. Something we're going to treat them like they're at the top of the league.
You don't see the irony in you talking about sleeping on division games?
Then the irony, look.
Now, when Neil was the first caller today, the other guy who I was asked more about last night, besides Neil, is this guy online right now who might be sleeping. V-Man's up next. Hello, V-Man. Come on. V-Man, you up?
Yep. Sorry. Lions is right. Lions is freaking. Hey, it's a classic.
A little ironic, though.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a classic, Then I like some of the ideas, some of the names you've thrown out there for like his possible coordinators. I like the idea of John Morton. He was actually pretty good in 2017. I remember like watching the 2017 season. The connection that Josh McCown had with Robbie Anderson was really good. If McCown hadn't gotten injured, Anderson would have easily cracked 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean, Josh McCown and John Morton that 1 year, until Rodgers this year, had the best statistical season by any Jet quarterback since Fitz.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I said. If he wasn't hurt, Anderson would have cracked 1,000 yards.
Correct.
So yeah, no, but like I said, obviously he's winning. Obviously, he won brownie points by snubbing the Patriots. Like you're gonna win brownie points with like 90% of this fan base, unless with that. So, like I said, I'm okay with Flores. I think Flores definitely that performance by the defense against the Rams that probably is going to spook some people in this fan base because of that. It's like it's another game like where that defense, it's like just to be such a no-show. I mean, it didn't help that Darnold played like garbage, but I mean,
I'm not putting that on Flores at all. Flores is Flores, whether they won or lost that game, is a good candidate. Man, that game has nothing to do with his candidacy for anyone.
I'm not saying it, but I will guarantee there are going to be one or two guys that are going to sit there and be spooked by that.
Yeah, I like Flores and I like Glenn as a candidate. I think right now, of the options the Jets have spoken to, they're probably 1 and 2 for me in whatever order. I'm more open to Glenn than I had been. The more I watch him in interviews and read about him, he's a very good candidate. But as I played were you watching when I played 4 years ago? What I said about Robert Saleh?
Yeah, no, exactly.
To a T, it's everything we're describing about Aaron Glenn. So
absolutely, no, I get that, and I get that. Like I said, I agree with you completely. But I think, like I said earlier in this call, I like the fact that, like I said, he built up. He's part of the turnaround in Detroit. I think because yes, the Niners were bad before Kyle Shanahan came into the picture. But like I said, they were never Detroit bad. So it's a completely different thing. They were only a few years removed from Jim Harbaugh and the three NFC title game runs. So it's not like it was. Like I said, I mean the Detroit Lions. It's like they have a long history of misery and suffering, the same way that the Jets have. So I think it's like a completely different thing.
Yeah, they're the NFC Jets. All fair.
That's the end of that V-Man call. Now he can go back to sleeping.
V-Man, good stuff. Kyle Clifton, what do you think of Mike Tomlin as Glenn's DC? Oh, that was for V-Man. That's funny. Hey, V-Man, what do you think of Mike Tomlin as Aaron Glenn's DC?
I mean, let's be real.
That's the end of this V-Man call. Time for him to get back to pooping.
Wonderful. Rob V wants the link. Rob, the link, as I will continue to say, has been pinned the entire time, and I have posted it a million times. So just scroll up. But 2, we'll do it another day. You got to test out your internet again. I don't want to keep wasting airtime going to you, hyping it up, and then disappointing the audience when your internet craps out. You had 3 shots. It didn't work. We'll rain check it. You'll test the internet, and we'll go from there. That to me is the best way to do this. All right. We got to, have you basically get a tune-up fight, so to speak, right? Got to build you up. You got to call into the Bobby Midnight Show and see if your internet works. People are saying the link is no longer pinned. On my end, it is. I will post it again, though, and repin it. Maybe it needs to reset or something. But I have posted it a ton. All you have to do is just scroll up. But we're already an hour 37 in. Let's rain check it. Let's make sure it works. See, like Matt says, it's pinned for him. I don't know. Beast had a good day. Big fella tried to send him to the hole, and Rob saved him immediately. John says it's pinned. Dave says link is there. No rumble. Let's just, test it out on a different show, and we'll go from there. Let's see. Joe M says a very challenged audience. Yeah, I mean, Beast brought it today, folks. He did. Hit the like button, comments, questions, super chats. They'll cut the line. Reminder, Joe Klecko jersey, our latest raffle prize. You can either win this or the Garrett Wilson signed helmet in next week's raffle. Gift memberships or send in $20 super chats for 5 entries. 50 gets you 10. And also let you send someone to the hole if they're on the line. Dave Brigger writes in, Beastbreaker sleeps in the 3rd level of hell. Dave, he got you good, man. Your internet got cooked by the Beastbreaker. What happened there? That was a wild one. It's good to see Dave Brigger, though, rocking the Asmaniac bucket hat. Love Dave Brigger. Clancy says, I need a membership. How does Clancy not have a membership? That is wild. DD writes in, Beastbreaker 4-0. Yeah. Rob V just privately messaged me. Jake, it wasn't my internet. My internet is always good. All right, let's check in with Rob, and we'll test it out here. Rob, hello.
There we go. You good?
What happened?
I don't know. It kept kicking me out, bro.
Your mic was muted, then you unmuted it, but then you muted it again. So I don't know what happened.
I don't know. For some reason, the StreamYard kept kicking me out. I don't duck no smoke. You know me.
I feel that. I feel that. I mean,
Now,
right now it's
bring
fine.
this fat fuck on.
Beast, are you ready to rumble? He's calling you out.
Let me light up a cigarette.
I don't know.
Part of my back as I shrug my shoulders. Blatant disrespect what I does the Dodgers.
I don't know if he's there, Rob. So cut a promo right now, and we'll have to hype this fight up like any good promoter would.
Feeling nice. Let's get it.
Why do you want to rumble with the Beast? What did he do to you?
He's just a fucking fugazi. He's a fanook.
You don't like his takes?
Hey, he's a fucking bro. He's fugazi. Come on, let's be real here.
Let's see. T-Dobbs wants to know: are you in a dark alley?
Who they talking to me? No,
Yeah,
I'm in
they're
a car, you fucking jerk off. Where you?
I don't know. I don't know where T-Dobbs is.
T-Dobbs, show your face. Or you'll end up in the dark alley. Either one. What do you want to do?
Pat Rich says too much winning for the Beast.
Beast, you guy hides backstage all fucking show. What's going on here?
He's not there. I can't go to him. He's not there.
Damn, bro.
I
But
don't
at
see
least
him.
the
He's in-
internet works. I told you, it's not the internet with me, bro.
Kyle writes in, this call is a snooze. Kyle Clifton's calling you out.
Kyle Clifton, damn, don't make me, all these fat fucks, man. Stop it, please.
Yeah, go on
Ozempic. Don't bother me. Don't worry about me. Go on Ozempic, man. Stop it.
Gary K says this guy gets blasted 3 times and wants more.
Gary K, all these people, I have no idea who yous are. None of you have showed your face. Never once. And I've never heard of you. So I could care less about none of yous. The real ones know what time it is. That's it.
Pat Rich says you're a real snooze.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to fucking make entertainment right now. I'm here to deal with Beast Breaker, not none of yous.
Let's see. One is from
another one. I have no idea who you are. Show your face at T-Squared or at Jet Game, then we'll talk.
Gary says time for Beast to kick your ass again.
Yo, Gary, you'll be grass fertilizer. Shut the fuck up.
Billy says, Rob V, they're all hungry.
I know, they're all hungry, right? Yo, Billy V, let them know what time it is.
Jetted Out has gifted a channel membership. He's in the raffle for one. Thank you, Jetted Out, for supporting the show.
I'm not here for anything else. I'm going to test the internet.
Look, we're testing it out. This is good.
It's all it
I
came
feel
for,
like
bro.
this is like the weigh-in. You know, you have to meet weight before you can fight. We're just testing it out. So tomorrow, in theory,
we'll set
it could be a rumble.
it up for tomorrow. Exactly, Jay.
All right.
There you go.
You'll rumble tomorrow?
I'll call back in tomorrow on the afternoon show.
You know what? That should work.
Sounds good, bud. Have a good night, though, all right?
100%.
All right, buddy. See you guys later.
Thank you. Let's see. There's a super chat I believe I missed. It's from Jetted Out. Thank you, Jetted Out. Haven't watched much Jets content. Jets pissed me off more than ever this year. Out of my all 30-plus years of fandom, just giving you a support of your work. Well, thank you very much, Jetted Out. I see you got a Garrett Wilson jersey in your picture there. We're giving away a Garrett Wilson signed helmet next week. So your raffle entry, maybe you win. That or the signed Joe Klecko jersey, which you can see on the photo I took there. The authentication patch is on it. Garrett writes in, did Jeff Stoutland get any head coaching budgets? He did not, but I think it's fair to say he's the best O-line coach in the NFL at this stage. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us right now to potentially wrap up today's program is a soothing voice with an up-close perspective on the New York Jets.
I got my Iron UG. I hope you like my Jets take. You know they call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit. Hi, Jake.
Hey, David.
Thank you for the show. Your last caller is right. You are the best. Beastbreaker. Very interesting. Beastbreaker on an even keel. And when you talk to him, you keep him on an even keel. But I wanted to see what was going to happen, when you brought the Rumblers in. And my take on that was he kept himself on an even keel. So,
He did well today, and the internet crapped out for Dave Briga. The internet crapped out for Rob 3 times. I mean, he did well.
Yeah, better for the heart and the heart rate and his health in general.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So getting back to my situation, if Gator ever wants to make a clip about me or whatever, I would consider that an honor. There's no one. It'd be hard to find enough people that could laugh about myself more than me. But this isn't Jerry Springer. I want to talk Jets, and I won't take much of your time. But I'm down to the nitty gritty, Jake, and my feeling is Dimitroff, Flores, or Dimitroff, Aaron Glenn. My heart tells me Dimitroff, Aaron Glenn, with all the Jet history and everything. But my head tells me Dimitroff, Flores.
Dimitroff Flores would be, to me, a really good front office and head coaching combo. You got two guys with experience, two guys that have had success. I like it. I'm in.
So interesting. Yep. So that's about it. I don't want to take much of your time.
Boomtown writes in, David T is showing off those battle scars. He's ready to go for March.
Yeah, I guess I'm a battle torn person. We keep on plugging away. If it doesn't kill you, it's going to make you stronger, Jake.
David, keep going, man. Keep doing your thing.
All right. Thank you.
I got my Iron Uji. I hope you like my Jets take. They call me David T. It's not easy for me to see, but if you bring me full stream, you might like what I had to say. I'll need to get real damn close, cause my vision is dog shit.
David T, everyone. One of the greats. One of the greats. Hit the like button if you haven't. Please subscribe to the channel if you're one of the 475 in here live right now. We're back to regular season numbers, baby. Last month, the channel was a little low with the live viewership and total viewership. I mean, off-season mode, baby. And this is the first time in the history of Jet YouTubers that we're doing a GM and coach search at the same time. Because the Jets haven't had one of these since 2015. I don't think there was any daily Jet YouTube shows then, at least on YouTube. I'm at 40,964 subscribers. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, or Beastbreaker will fart in your mouth. Those are the rules. Oscar writes in, Dave Briga stole the show, Jake. Dave Briga brought a lot to the table. Unfortunately, his internet crashed out, but you guys know how I feel about Dave. I'm a big fan. Let's say hello to Chris G, who's actually our last caller. Hello, Chris.
How's it going, Jake?
What's up, Chris?
Nothing much. I've been hearing a lot of talk about it being either offensive or defensive minded, but I don't think that's really matters that much. I think the main thing we need is a disciplinarian who's going to hold guys accountable, fix the culture, and give the talent on this team something to buy into so we can maybe make a run for a wild card spot.
Yeah, look, I agree with you, but if you're going to hire the defensive coach, then yes, Aaron Glenn's going to coach the whole team. He's got to get his offensive coordinator hire right, because that's the concern you have with a first-timer.
Yes, I would want him to hire someone with experience if he was going to be head coach. To hire an OC with prior head coaching experience.
Yep, or just like a young up-and-comer that you have a lot of confidence in. Like if Flores brought McCown with him, he doesn't have head coaching experience, but I think we'd be excited about that OC hire.
Yeah, because Flores and McCown have a relationship that they can maybe take over to New York and make us successful.
Yep, Glenn. Aaron Glenn has a relationship with a bunch of guys in that Lions staff, so it'd be interesting to see who he would take.
Who do you think's gonna end up being the GM?
I don't know. I think they're going to end up making 2 front office hires. That's my feeling based on the volume of candidates they've interviewed.
Borgonzi is a great idea, seeing how he's on the Chiefs staff, that very successful organization. So hope he can come give that some of that to us.
I hope so. He's got a really good resume. He's been there for 6 years or 16 years in different roles, worked his way up. I like him of the first-time GM candidates. Thomas Dimitroff, I like the best of the guys with previous GMing experience.
Who do you think is going to end up getting the head coaching job? You think it's going to be Glenn?
I think it's going to be Aaron Glenn.
I mean, could get on board with that. I'd rather it be Flores because, the prior head coaching experience and the winning records. But, I can get on board with Glenn.
Look, I'll tell you what. I'll play it again on the way out of here. If you weren't on board with Aaron Glenn, I think his answer today definitely turned some heads and got some people glenned up.
I mean, Bill Belichick is a shining example of a defensive coach who won Super Bowls, but typically it's offensive coordinators. They come from the offense who become Super Bowl head-winning coaches.
Yeah.
Why do you think that might be? Is there?
Well, I don't know if that's truly accurate. I can just go off the top of my head with Bill Carr, Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick. That's won a ton of Super Bowls as a defensive coach. And here's the one thing that I would say about myself. I'm a coach. I just happen to be on defense. I understand the offense just as well as a number of people. So if you're going to hire me, you're going to hire a coach. You're not going to hire a defensive coach. I'm going to talk to the offense just as much as I'm going to talk to the defense.
I don't know. When he says it, you kind of believe him. Like, Saleh said that too, but Saleh didn't sound as real as Glenn does when he says it. I like Aaron Glenn. We just don't know. Chris, good call. Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest fraud in this chat just made a comment so ridiculous it needs to be addressed immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to do this at the end of the show here. Alan writes in, congrats to Drake May on his engagement. Alan, you're a bum.
Now look what you've done, Alan. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
Congratulating the Patriots quarterback on his engagement. After Allen had comments about how great it would be to see Justin Herbert throw into Garrett Wilson. This guy is the biggest fraud. And you guys entertain him. And it makes no sense. Fraud. Capital F. Fraud. Oh, Allen watched him in high school. Oh, I love Drake May. Nobody gives a flying you-know-what. Fraud. All right? We're all Jet fans here, like 99% of us. And then there's Allen, who's a fraud, but is on every Jet YouTube show despite retiring. He still has time to comment away. Even Dave Briga is going after Allen, saying, Allen, why? We don't care about Drake May. Nice gesture, but he's the opponent. It's not a nice gesture. It's Allen being a fraud. Enjoy the sodomites, you bum. Tristan with a super chat. Take one more call, Jake. I need the link. Tristan, call in quickly. I got places to be. Big fella's next because I love him. Hello, big fella.
Hey, man. Hey, Aaron Glenn is now at the top of my list. He's at the top of my list. He's getting me excited for him to be a coach, man. He moved past Flores. I'd be happy with Flores too, but I'm very excited for Aaron Glenn to be coach.
What changed? His answer?
Just everything that happened today, and just going back to knowing that he's learned under Parcells and stuff. And being a former Jet, I know it doesn't mean much, but it kind of does to me.
But you know what? I do think it means something. He was here the last time this team was any good. or
Yeah.
consistently, and he was here when they had Parcells, and he considers the Jets his dream job. Like D'Amico Ryan said the same thing with the Texans. Like I think it means a lot. I do think it matters.
Yeah, he wants to be here, and that's huge for me. That's why he's at the top of my list now instead of Flores. I mean, we'd be happy with Flores, but Aaron Glenn would be really nice to see. And Alan, that's blasphemy, man. You can't say anything good about the Patriots if you're a Jet fan, bro. You just can't.
No, it's outrageous.
I mean, it's the cardinal rule. F Boston. That's it. I mean, there's nothing else. So yeah, he's at the top of my list.
This is the only time we should be talking about Drake May all offseason.
Oh, this is what I'm gonna do to you all season, little bitches.
Exactly. Drake, and the thing is, a lot of
take that, you pesky Patriots fans.
And a lot of people are making Drake May out to be.
Yeah, the dream season we've been waiting for is happening.
All right. Now everybody's making Drake May out to be like something like special and everything like that. He hasn't proven anything except that he's injury prone. That's it. I mean, he's the first pick of the draft or whatever. He hasn't shown much. So I don't know. I don't get it. F Boston, Alan. We expect better, man. That's all I can say.
Big fella, you're the man. By the way, I would say it's the first time ever people were upset about Beast being sent to the hole earlier with this.
Yeah, my little butterball. He was. I didn't get my money's worth this time. We'll get it next time.
Rob saved him, and then I will say Beast won some fans over today with his Rebel victories.
I bet. I mean, all we want is for him to be like normal. That's it. I mean, I have no problem with him. Except for his metal takes and stuff like that. But other than that, just keep it like keep it respectful and everything, and we'll be good.
I think that's fair. I think that's
it,
fair.
yeah.
Big fella, I appreciate you, man. Good stuff. And I got some breaking news at the end of the show that is actually real Jet breaking news and not me just messing with you all. Ladies and gentlemen, the breaking news.
Breaking sports news on the Jake Asman Show.
According to Albert Breer, the New York Jets have requested to interview Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley for their head coaching job. The Jersey native has 4 years of head coaching experience at Boston College and led a top 5 unit this year. It looks like that happens at the end of this week. Packers fans love this guy, by the way. No Mike McCarthy, no Gruden, no Carroll, another defensive guy. No issue with interviewing anyone. But I just feel like we're not interviewing the top of the top candidates. If they hire this guy over Aaron Glenn, I'm going to go nuts. Because as much as I prefer a coach with experience, you can't sell me on Jeff Hafley. You can't. Now, I wonder if this was a request because they liked the John Eric Sullivan GM interview yesterday, and he's with the Packers, and he says, hey, I'd love to work with Hafley as my head coach if you were to hire me. But can we get the Jets are setting a record to speed dating. It's incredible. Tristan says, I can't find the link. I'll call next time. Sounds good, Tristan. We'll get you first up next time. I see you on hold. All right. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. I got to run. Hit the like button. Another 2 hours in the books here. We did like 2.5 earlier. Jet fans, you guys are the absolute greatest. Join my Patreon if you haven't already. It helps support the channel. Papa Jet, I see you signed up during the show. Thank you. Joshua Burgos, Joseph Rumpelo, and Matthew Ryland are our most recent Patreon members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you sign up for the year, by the way, you save 15%. Patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. All right. Go Knicks tonight against the Sixers. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Jets. Jets.
And Jet fans are clueless. I mean, they're dopes. They don't know anything. This is a really good hire. Gase is a great coach. Okay, Adam Gase is Kyle Shanahan before Kyle Shanahan. Gase is a great coach.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas.